Hello students, welcome to video lecture on tenses and punctuation as part of pre-placement training program. This is Vidhya V, placement coordinator of phase 2, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. So what are tenses? So tenses are used to show the time of a verb's action or being. So it shows roughly what time it is referring to. There are basically three basic tenses which are further subdivided into four categories. So basic tenses are present, past and future. And these tenses are further subdivided into simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. Continuous is also called as progressive. Let's see one by one. So present tense, the first one is simple present tense. It indicates the present that is happening currently. Examples are the buildings are tall and beautiful. Hemal takes vacation every year. So are, takes, and all it indicates that it is present tense. Next is present continuous. This indicates an ongoing action that is happening at the same time the statement is written. So I am enjoying summer vacation. So the summer vacation is happening right now and I'm enjoying. So this comes under the category present, continuous or progressive. So it is progressing. Next, she is taking guitar lessons at present. So it is continuous. It is an ongoing action that is happening at the same time that I am writing that sentence. So it is called as present continuous. Next is present perfect. This describes an action that happened at an indefinite time in the past and is now over. And here the exact time is not important. So example, I have seen that movie many times. So I have already seen that movie many times, but it has happened in the past and is now over, but we don't know where or when I saw those movies. So this is present perfect. So I have seen that movie many times. I have taken his advice on the same. And the last one is present perfect continuous. So this describes an action that was started in the past, continues in the present and may be there in the future as well. So grandfather has been taking medicine regularly. So grandfather took medicines yesterday, taking medicines today and might be taking medicines tomorrow as well. So this comes under present perfect continuous. So what is the formula to write tenses in these four categories? For present tense, we'll see simple form is just the present tense of the verb. Continuous form is you add a am, is or are, and then you add a ing, that is ing, to the verb. That is continuous form. Perfect form, you add a have and or a has with the past participle of verb. Then perfect continuous is you add have or has and then you add been and then you add ing to the verb. So with the example of take word, we'll see four forms of present tense. So take in simple form is take or takes. Continuous is I am taking, is taking, are taking. Perfect form is have taken or has taken. And perfect continuous will be have been taking or has been taking. Next tense is past tense. So simple past tense is simply indicating the past. So Chetan Bhagat wrote 3 mistakes of my life. So Chetan Bhagat is already written. So it happened in the past. So wrote indicates that it is a simple past tense. Or Sonu took Tiger, his dog, for a walk. Next is past continuous. So this describes a past action which was happening when another action happened. So when Chetan was writing the novel, he fell ill. So two actions. So when he was writing, he fell ill. Next is while Komal was taking dinner, Sujata came home. So Komal is one action, Sujata coming to home is another action. So this is describing a past action which was happening when another action happened. So this becomes past continuous. Past perfect is describing an action that took place in the past before another past action. That is, we did not reach on time because we had taken the wrong path. So had taken indicates that it is past perfect. Past perfect continuous is you indicate that action that began in the past which continued to another time in the past. So I had been taking stroll for an hour when it started raining. That is, action that began in the past. So I took a stroll an hour before and it continued for 1 hour. So indicating that action began in the past which continued till another time in the past. So had been taking will indicate that this sentence is a past perfect continuous. So her formula for past tense simple is simply the past tense of the verb, and continuous is was or were, and you add ing to the verb, this becomes continuous. Perfect is had with the pp of the verb, and perfect continuous is had plus been plus verb and ing. So again with the example of take we'll see. Simple is form is past tense of take is took, so that becomes a simple tense. Next, continuous will be was taking or were taking. Perfect is had taken, and perfect continuous is had been taking. Next is future tense. Simple future tense is indicating a action that's going to happen in the future. So I will take you out for dinner over the weekend. So it's going to happen in the weekend. So this indicates a simple future action. Next is future continuous. This describes an ongoing or continuous action that will take place in the future. So Priya will be taking dramatic classes in the summer vacation. So it's a continuous or ongoing action that will take place in the future. This is future continuous. Future perfect is describe an action that will happen in the future before some other action. That is, by June 2009, he would have taken retirement. This is future perfect, and future perfect continuous is show the actions that will continue till a particular event or time in the future. That is, by the end of year 2010, Jane would have been taking the classes for more than a year. So it's showing the action that will continue till a particular time in the future. So we'll see the formula again. So for future tense, simple will be will or shall with the present tense of the verb, and continuous will be with the verb and ing, and perfect will be will have or would have with the pp of the verb, and perfect continuous will be will have or would have plus been plus the verb and the ing. So again with take we'll see simple form is will or shall take, continuous is will be taking or would be taking, perfect is would have taken or will have taken, and perfect continuous is would have been taking. So this is a practice session for you guys. So um, this is a simple present tense. Aditi writes a letter to her mother. So with the same sentence we'll see the different tenses, how you can write the same sentence. So this will be written in continuous as Aditi is writing a letter. So you're adding a ing to the verb write. So this becomes present progressive or present continuous. Next, present perfect. So Aditi has written. So has written will indicate that this is present perfect, and has been, you're adding a been and an ing will become perfect continuous. So Aditi has been writing letters to her mother. The same will become, now we'll see past. Aditi wrote a letter. So write past is wrote, so that becomes simple past tense. Aditi was writing you're writing a was and an adding an ing, so this indicates it's past progressive or past continuous. Next, past perfect is had written. Aditi had written a letter to her mother, and had been writing will be past perfect continuous or past perfect progressive. Let's see about future tense. Aditi will write a letter to her mother is simple future. Aditi will be writing a letter to her mother is future progressive or continuous. Aditi would have written is future perfect, and would have been writing letters to her mother is future perfect progressive or future perfect continuous. Next, punctuation. So punctuation is a set of standard symbols like comma, period, question mark, quotation marks, etc. that is used in writing to separate words into sentences, phrases, clauses that will actually help a reader to understand the text. It is used to create a sense, clarity, and stress in sentences, and it is also used to structure and organize our writing. So some of the basic or common punctuation symbols are period, comma, exclamation mark, question mark, quotation mark, apostrophe, and parenthesis. So the first punctuation is period or a full stop. It is used at the end of the sentence to make a statement. So don't use any space between the last letter and the period, and always use one space between the period and the first letter of the next sentence. So as you can see in the example, I love mangoes, and there is no space after the S, that is the last letter of the word. Please don't leave a space. And if you want to start another sentence after the sentence, you leave one space after the full stop or the period, and you start the next sentence. Next punctuation is question mark, which is used at the end of a direct question. So when you're asking a question, you should always end it with a question mark. So example is, what is your name? Next punctuation is exclamation mark, which is used at the end of a declaration, interjection, or command, which is also helping us to emphasize or express our feelings, emotions, etc. So your emotions can be your happiness, sadness, or joy, or expressing something. The time you use exclamation marks. For example, no, he yelled, do it now. So this is like a command. So that time you use exclamation mark. Next is apostrophe. So apostrophe is used in two spaces. One is contraction of words, and next one is possessive or possession of words. First one is contraction. So you're contracting two words, that is are not. You can put it into one word using an apostrophe. So aren't, can't, couldn't, didn't, he'd, I'll, I have, mustn't, who are, wouldn't, won't. So these all come under contraction of words. For example, it's raining outside. So instead of writing it is, you can put it into one word by using an apostrophe. I will be there. So you can combine I and will with I'll. And then I haven't met him before. So I have not can be written as I haven't. So this is contraction of words. Then possessive. So in possessive, you can use apostrophe before S and after S. We'll see before S first. That is children's room. So the children is possessing that room. So that time you use children's room, men's work, women's club, car's engine. So the girl's hand. So it is the hands of the girl. So girls is possessing that hand. So then you use apostrophe there. Cat's toy was missing. So these are the scenarios where you use the apostrophe before S. Next, after S. Where do you use after S? When you're talking about the plural, the subject is a plural. That is boys, babies, lemons, students. So boys, there are lots of boys. So all the boys is ball. If you're going to talk, if you're putting in this scenario, if you're saying apostrophe before S, then there's only one boy. You're talking about one boy's ball. But if you're talking about lots of boys, then you put the apostrophe after the S. So baby's shoes, lemons acidity. So acidity of lots of lemons. Student's bag, two girls' dresses. So the table's legs were all wobbly and needed repair. So you're talking about lots of tables here. So you put the apostrophe after S. Similarly, cherries, stones, and then designer's clothes. So these are all the scenarios where you put apostrophe after S. Next punctuation is quotation marks. This is used to mark an exactly replicated word or statement. So this can be a phrase by a person or character, the title of a work, or to indicate or emphasize the use of a word. So this marks the appearance of a set of inverted commas and are used in pairs. So you have to put an opening and a closing one. So what are the scenarios where you can use quotation marks? The first one is you can show a speech or writing by a character. As you can see, Harry sighed, I didn't mean to break the window. So Harry, whatever he said, the exact words, if you want to put it in the if you want to quote the same thing, you have to put it in quotation marks. Next, to give someone a special description. So his name is Ben Impossible Jones. So impossible is like a special description about Ben. So at that time you use quotation marks. And to emphasize or give importance to a particular word, then you can use quotation marks. So he had a chat with the neighbors yesterday. So you want to emphasize the word chat here, then you put it into quotation marks. So last punctuation is comma. So comma is used in various scenarios. The first one is if you want to separate the elements in a series, that is 3 or more things. Hit the ball, dropped the bat, and ran to the first base. So that is one scenario you can use commas. Then if you want to connect two independent clauses with a conjunction, then you use comma. He hit the ball well, but he ran towards the third base. There you use a comma. To set off introductory elements, so you're giving some introduction. So running towards the third base, comma, he suddenly realized how stupid he looked. Or to separate adjectives, tall, distinguished, good looking fellow. So you're separating the adjectives. Tall, distinguished, good looking, without any commas, it will look stupid or it won't make any sense. So you put a comma between adjectives. Next is a set of phrases that express contrast. So ice and fire is contrast. So there you use comma. Some say the world will end in ice, not fire. So next, most of the time you use comma to avoid confusion, obviously. So the first sentence doesn't have a comma. For most, the year is already finished. So it doesn't make any sense. For most, the year is already finished. If you give a pause with a comma, you understand. Outside the lawn was cluttered with hundreds of broken branches. So outside the lawn, it doesn't make any sense. Whereas the next, if you put a comma, outside, the lawn was cluttered with hundreds of broken branches. So if you give a pause and with a comma, you can understand the sentence more easily. So that's the end of the session, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much.